Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode on the YouTube channel. In today's video, we start Season 7, and we get one of the hardest assignments you're going to get on the opening day. We go away to the Etihad and play Manchester City in a game that will probably dictate our start of the season. It also doesn't get easier because we also play Arsenal and Liverpool in the first 3 games of the season. It's not a bad thing, as it means that our runs, during Europe are probably a bit easier. However, it's always the way on Football Manager that they group all the hard games together. If you are enjoying the content, give it a like, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you should just like it for the Christmas top that I'm in. I did win Best Dressed at Work, so I'm very happy with myself right now. Alright, let's get into the fixtures first, and then we'll go and do a few other things and talk about some signings, because we definitely have signed some players, and then we'll get into this game against Man City. As you can see, very hard start for us. Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, there is a possibility we're 0-3 to begin the season. We also have Newcastle and Manchester United in all of this as well, which means it's a very hard start in the first 5 league games. What this does mean is during this run in and around, European football, with us being in the Europa League, is we will have the Burnleys, the Evertons, the Leicesters, the Middlesbroughs of the world. It also means our run home at the end of the season is going to be pretty good, as we play Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, West Ham, Aston Villa and Bournemouth on the final day, which means, realistically, from April, we should be looking to win almost all the games, apart from that Chelsea away game. Got the hiccups out of nowhere. Now, on top of that too, the finances look in a pretty good spot. We've got over 100 million in the bank, which is great. Still got 55 million in the transfer budget. Yet again, though, being the club that is Wrexham, we're developing the reputation. Being around 3.5 star, you can't get in that elite, reputable players. So really trying to improve the squad was yet again a little bit difficult in terms of massive improvement. I still think we have a very good squad, and I very much think that our first team can potentially finish in Europe again and push for a Champions League spot. And I really do think our first 11 side, as long as we get some good draws in the Europa League, can go really deep. But I also do think that our depth is still not 100% there. As you can see, though, the game has definitely recognised that we have been developing, so we're no longer predicted to be in a relegation zone from match day 1 in the Premier League. We're actually predicted to finish mid-table in 11th. If you told me you had a decent run in a couple of the cups, and you told me that we also did well in the Europa League, didn't win it, but, we went pretty deep, and we finished 11th, I'd probably take that because it's another year of development for the younger players. As you can see, the game records that Dominguez should be replacing Arthur in goal, which, look, it's close, but it's not there. There's a brand new centre-back in that lineup, and the brand new right winger, which we did highlight in the last episode if he was going to come in, is a player there as well. And I think Kristovic and Herman will play up front. Now, in saying this, I don't think it is something that we're really going to play exactly like that, but pretty close. I have made some sales and some signings. A lot of my signings I made very early in the window, pouncing on talent before they were snapped up by bigger clubs, and we'll show you those in a second. More importantly, though, on the outs, you saw Goodiabi, who we did bring in for a very small fee in a few seasons ago, had not really developed at all. In the end, we sold him for 16.25 mil, so that is about 16 mil profit just under, which is great. And Dewberry's officially left us as well. He just was never got fit enough again to really get to his potential. Yet again, 9 mil for a guy who picked up on a free, some very good profit. As you can see there too, he did loan out a few other players there. Most importantly is Shannon, who developed very well out playing back in Thailand, has now gone to Union Berlin, who just got relegated to the second Bundesliga, so you hopefully some more development for him. We have got a player on screen there that we did buy this time around, but I want to highlight, obviously, the players that we are going to look at here as well. Important to note, we did sell Wellham Reneke just before the window opened as well to FC Nantes for 26 mil. Bought him for 26 mil profit. Great to get it in, and he had 2 decent years. It does mean in these bigger games we do not have that, that touch older centre-back, but the centre-back we do bring in, as I'm about to show you, is absolutely elite. Now, I'm going to run through all these guys here as well. We're going to go in order because I think they're in order of performance. Offer Sivan, just yet again, Israeli, international, 20 determination, 6'4", could develop into an absolute monster in the middle of the park. Definitely think you might see him play some minutes towards the back end of the season, and I'm definitely going to give Offer Sivan the potential to play in the Europa League as well. At 6'4", this guy could develop into an absolute monster, so we do pick him up here and a relatively cheap fee for 4.4 mil, 7 mil over time. Now, Pedro Orellana was urged by my Twitch chat to sign. I also have been keeping this guy in my shortlist for the last 5 years. Sevilla have mismanaged him though. He should have been playing first team football and had a loan or two by the time he was 18 years of age to really develop his potential. He had 5-star potential. It's now down to this. Have a look at the mentals. 20 determination, a lot of 19s, 17s throughout the mentals. That's one of the most mentally gifted players you're ever going to see with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mentals, 15 plus, with 1, 2, 3, 4 of them 17 or above. He also got good passing, good technique, which means a very good playmaker or a deeper line forward that likes to drop in and come from deep. And has a few 14s in there as well. Only issue is we did try to steal Kristovic this season. He kicked up an absolute stink and didn't want to leave, and we never got a big bid or a bid, to be fair. So, unfortunately, Pedro, as much as I brought him in with the intention of using him off the bench in a lot of games, is probably going to have to bide his time, in the weaker games. We'll give him some minutes off the bench, start him in a couple of Europa League games, see if he develops. I will say that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stats there. 1, 2, 3 stats, 4, 5 stats that are 14 plus. If they can get the 15s, he all of a sudden looks that little bit more well-rounded, and I think there is a footballer in him, and hopefully Pedro does the job. Now, Andrea Lorenzi is the most expensive signing out the lot, and he is your brand new centre-back. 9 caps at 19 years of age for the Belgium international side. In terms of eligibility, he did come in before he turned 18, so I do believe he should become eligible to play for us there as well. Start that training. He's not the most ball-playing defender, but he's 6'3" and an absolute physical monster. He's already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stats of 15 plus. And have a look at the 14s there. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's potential to have 17 stats of 15 plus by the end of his first season here in the Premier League. I think we found a centre-back that is going to be here for the next, 8, 10, 12 years, unless we're losing him on an absolute massive fee. Touching on centre-back before we look at the last player that we have here as well is we have got Origa who plays alongside him, who's kicking up an absolute stink, the club captain. We rejected 132 million over clauses, but 90 million upfront from Inter. I do have a release fee, and that's what I'm going to let him go for, especially being in Europe. Unfortunately, Yuchi Origa is now kicking up a stink, still wanted by Inter, but yeah, we definitely rejecting anything below 182 million because I think he's worth the 182 million release fee. Lucky last, though, in the transfer list is Jamie Hormazabal. And Jamie is already 3.5 star as an 18-year-old winger. Already got 17 pace with 17 agility and has got good crossing and dribbling with technique. We saw the winger well do amazing for us last season, and he looked absolutely incredible. 2 caps for Chile as well. I believe he should be becoming eligible to come in and be in the Prem. It's all disappeared, but it should be. He's 18, 2 years, 3 years being an under-21 footballer for Europe. He should be, eligible to become homegrown. I think he is going to be one of the best players in the world at some stage, and there we are. Lucky last one is one that, we struggle to find a left winger of quality to come in. For those that don't know, I'm from Adelaide. Nestory Irakunda's Adelaide's best player in real life. He's just got to move to Bayern Munich in real life. This kid has got abundance of potential. Unfortunately, Bayern did the KO George on him and just Juve kept the KO George on him and not really developed him too much. To be fair, played 21 games in the Serie A and 17 the year before, so I actually think it's been his development that's been a little bit slow. All off the bench, 2 starts in 2 years. We ended up picking him up for what I think is a pretty cheap fee, 16.5 mil. Great physicals, physically a dominant player. And from what we've seen in pre-season, his physicals dominate games, technical and flair. And he is well-rounded enough that with those physicality, that if he develops that little bit, he could be a very good usable footballer. Also think the game is going to treat him like Destiny Udogie, a bit of a late bloomer. And playing regularly in the Premier League, because I am planning on starting him over Pavlovic for the first period of the season, I think Nestory Irankunda is going to be amazing. Also, if he's not, he goes to the bench for Pavlovic, and imagine bringing this guy with those physicals off the bench to go run at defences when they're tired. I think he is the perfect super sub as well. So hopefully Nestory has a good time of it. Let's go into preseason here. We had a pretty good preseason. Most notably, we got a draw against Barcelona, who fielded a very, very, very strong 11 at the racecourse. As you can see there, Timber, Aranjo, Fatty, Lamal, Gavi, yeah, good side. We pumped everyone else. Nestory Irankunda probably was the star of preseason with Jamie or Harzabal or Marzabal. So important to note all of that too. Your team and your best 11 for now, moving into the Premier League to start, is going to be Arthur, Robertson, Arriga, Lorenzi, and Udogi. I actually think the back four and the goalkeeper are amazing. I do think Dominguez probably needs to start starting that little bit more because look how good he is. But, you know, being in Europe, Cabarro Cup, I'm still going to give Arthur the first team duties for now. Koulibaly and Mariba both together amazingly. We just tied Mariba down to a 5-year deal as well, which is superb. I do think there is at a time that Mariba might come out the team, but when that point is, we do not know. Jamie's going to start on the right as that fantastic winger. James McAtee still in the hole behind Herman. Nestory's going to get a start on the left-hand side, and Josh Herman is, of course, up front. As you can see, McAtee's not 100% fit. I don't know why that is. Apparently, he's been made available for the under-21s. I don't know why, and if I have, I've accidentally done that. So McAtee's not fit, but he will start. My plans here as well is to loan out... You should be available for the 21s for 90. My plan is to loan out Savolo, but he's still got a knock. And Arthur's been training to play Shadow Striker in the hole, and I just look at him as a Shadow Striker and go, yeah, you're going to be pretty damn good. I'm going to start McAtee anyway, and then we might bring in Brian Sanchez or George Davis, who I want to give as much game time to as possible. Or what I could do, actually, is offer Sivan's going to come into the 11. McAtee's going to come out. Mariba's going to go into there. And I think Offa Sivan is going to play in a little bit more of a deeper line role. He's a very good deeper line playmaker, and I'm going to give Sivan his debut just to get it out the way as well. I'm a big fan of doing that. Let's get into the game. Let's see what we can do. Big game against Manchester City. I know it's a Man City game and, you know, you shouldn't be throwing in probably a young kid in his first game to the Wolves. But what it also does, it gives him a start. Being a squad player, anytime we can find an excuse to give him a start, we probably should do it. All right, with that being said, they're lining up in the 4-2-4 because Unai Emery's still in charge of Haaland and Mateus Cunha's developed into an amazing footballer. Kezi's out on the left as well. They've still got Guardiola at the back. They've still got Diaz as well. They've got Ben White playing right back. Only thing is Edison has got a hip injury and is not playing for City. This is a big game in the contents of this season. We actually have a very good record against Unai Emery and Man City though, which is surprising. We have FM'd them a lot. And hopefully today will be another day which we can do that in. If we don't win this game here, I don't particularly mind. If we beat Arsenal at the Emirates, I don't mind. And Liverpool is Liverpool. I think we play them at home. So, yeah, it's going to be a difficult first 3 games. I tell you right now, if I can win 1, lose 2, that's amazing. If I get 2 draws, that's amazing. To be fair, if I can get 1 draw, I'll probably snap your hand off 2. I just don't want to lose all 3. So far, though, in a game that's not had a highlight here, it's been 13 minutes of talking, no actual action. It's half-time, it's 0-0, and look, to be fair, boys, I don't particularly care too much because, well, why would I? If the game just keeps ticking like this, I'm not going to complain too much. Sivan on his debut is looking a little bit legless here, which is fair enough. Apparently, Arthur's picked up some pulled wrist ligaments. That's no good for our goalkeeper, but he should be able to carry on. Offa's done very, very, very well. I'm going to get Mariba to go back a line. I'm actually going to get Arthur in that shadow striker role just to see if he wants to run at the Manchester City defence. On top of that, too, I think Nestory Irakunda's for Pavlovic makes a lot of sense as well, to keep him happy. And I think Brian off for Jamie, who can drop the shoulder and beat a man 60 minutes in. Give those boys some minutes. Important to keep them happy. Kristovic, I'm going to bring in the 75th minute of basically every game. Give Herman as much of an opportunity as possible as well. So far, there is nothing to write home about in this game of football, and I don't particularly mind. So 74 minutes played. I'm going to get Kristovic in, and I actually think Destiny Doggy looking legless is going to come off as well, and he's going to come off with Giancarlos, who is very much at the moment been doing very well in his development. Anytime we can give him minutes is probably not a bad thing as well. All right, all our changes made here. We've definitely gone into not shut up shop mode, but I'm pretty happy how things have gone here without a highlight in this game. This is an incredible game to not see a highlight in. We're definitely going to go to more time wasting in the system, and we get a set piece or something. Not one highlight. We're 6 minutes away from having a non-highlight game. We get an injury. Mariba is out. That is not good. If we now concede because we have an injury, I am going to be pretty damn annoyed. We're down to 10 men here. Hopefully not long enough for City to get one. Full time. There you go. Look at that. So one of the most boring games of ever that I've live com. Not one highlight. City had 11 shots 6. We had 4 shots 1. Not one highlight. We got an injury late doors there for Mariba, which hopefully isn't long term. But if it is, it allows me to play a couple of the other kids in and around as well. But look, you take it, you run. It's a point away from home. It's brilliant. I think that's fine. It's 4 to 5 days. You came off for a 4 to 5 day injury, really? If we conceded then, I would be fining Mariba as much money as I could. But look, that is a point on the opening day against Manchester City. You would take that. I feel pretty bad for you guys that you didn't get to see any goals or highlights. What I might do is leave the episode to continue and not end it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back at the end of the Liverpool game and give you what happened against Arsenal and Liverpool and the goals. If they all finish 0-0, then I'm just going to come back and tell you it's probably the most boring time I've ever had playing FM. But yeah, it's an interesting start to say the least, and a pretty good start considering we got a clean sheet away from home at the Etihad in our first game. I need to start giving you these games at Anfield here, YouTube, because we have just played another thriller at Anfield against Liverpool. Last year it was 4-4. You remember I came back in to see the 90th minute corner we missed. Today it was 3-3. 1-0 up, 2-1 down, 3-2 up, 3-3. The goals in this game, a little bit whatever. I will say, if you look at the lineup there, we started with Pavlovic on the left to use Irankunda as a super sub. I started with Kristovic because Herman didn't score in his first 2 and I wanted to have more experience out on the park. Brian as a super sub. Orellana made the bench for the first time as well. And let's go through the goals. We took a lead against the run of play here. But the first time we ventured forward, your doggy winning it on half day and, being one of our best players goes down and Kristovic fires home. Lovely to see. We then also conceded here to Osimhen. There's not much you can do when Victor Osimhen gets going, mate. Victor Osimhen gets going. As you can see, here's a Boslai, Bonami, Osimhen flicks in, is what is. And then the game really turned against us here as Joe Gomez heads home. Now, important to note, at this stage here before this goes in, Arthur has just pulled off a world-class save to produce this corner. Against Diaz, if we can do this, or against Hassan. Just world-class. What a save from Arthur. And unfortunately, in the aftermath of this goal, or in the goal, you will see that Arthur pulls off another fantastic save, and he gets a little bit unlucky, unfortunately. He's been fantastic in net so far this season. But yeah, as you can see, virtually behind him, parries it into Kristovic, which is just unfortunate because it was a world-class save to keep it out. We then won a penalty from a long throw. Always nice to see the long throws doing their job. If we go back even further, just don't want to go 10 seconds because if I go 10 seconds, they're going to cut the highlight, I reckon. But as you can see here, long throw, your doggy gets absolutely barred through by Gomez. And we end up scoring the pen. It's a pretty good penalty here from Kristovic as well. Eventually, when we get there. At least you got goals this time. Obviously having no highlights. I will say there was only 2 highlights against Arsenal total as well. And I'm going to show you those highlights in a second, obviously. But it was only 2 highlights in Arsenal, no highlights against Man City, and then this game played. And then off the bench, Irankunda takes a corner like he does in real life for Adelaide United. And in the end, what a volley from Brian Alcaron. Over everybody, Brian volleys home, and you think we may be going to win. But unfortunately here, and yet again, we defend so well. And then we defend well. Ball ends up Arthur doing Arthur things here from the free kick here. The reason why I'm showing you this is we probably should have scored. I will get annoyed here because your doggy should just get this. Arthur should be throwing it into this area. Your doggy just drives and off we go. He doesn't at all in the end. He still could have thrown it to him if he wanted to take time off the clock. Have a look at the link-up play here between Irankunda, Oriala, and Brian. And I love this from Orellana because if he makes this ball, Irakunda's in 1-on-1 and is probably going to score. Unfortunately, Trent just gets there or else that's a goal. And that's very, very well done by the advanced playmaker. I moved him into advanced playmaker support. Looked really good since coming off the bench. And then, yeah, unfortunately for us, Bonami gets there, puts one in the box. And then I just don't know what Origa's doing. Like, if you watch it from the other angle, whatever Origa is trying to do here, I do not know. Because the ball's going into the keeper's hands, and then he decides to try and clear it, and clears it into the keeper. If he just leaves it, Arthur collects, and it's game over. Well, it's not game over, but it's still 3-2. And because Origa tries to kick it out of Arthur's hands for whatever reason, maybe he wants to try and leave to go to Inter, so he puts in a bad performance. We concede it's 3-3. But look, a very satisfying result. That's a draw against Man City, a draw against Liverpool, both away from home, and that's within the first two of the three parts of the season. However, we played Arsenal. There's only 2 highlights in the game total, and one of them was for us to score, and we won 1-0 in a game where Arsenal were the slightly better team. After back-to-back man of the matches and back-to-back clean sheets, your goal was very worked out. And a very nice goal here from Brian Alcaron, who scores his second goal of the season, as you can now say, and is our top goal scorer at the moment. But yeah, Brian getting down the flank, doing well. Back to Robinson. First time ball back to Brian, and then cross keeper. The winger runs and the winger movement and the cut inside is just so much better than the inside forward of the inverted winger. I still play Nestory as an inverted winger out there because I think it's needed. But yeah, obviously, I think Nestory playing long term here in the Prem, he's going to develop as well. But that puts us in a very good position. That puts us in. That puts us in 6th after 3 games on 5 points. I would have taken 1 point. I would have taken 2 points. I would have taken 3 points. So to get 5 from our first 3, considering it was Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, is superb. Make sure you give this video a like and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Lucky last is the Europa League phase came out. Next episode, you're going to see us play our first ever game in Europe against Mold, who we should be beating on Molde. We then got Motherwell, Maccabi Tel Aviv, where we got obviously the 6'4" Ukrainian? No, 6'4" Israeli centre defensive mid, Surin. I can't remember his name right now. Bayer 04 is going to be the most difficult of that. Ferencvaros from the Hungary. Strasbourg made it into Europe, so good on Strasbourg. Bold Glimp, and then Benfica. If you have a look at that, we probably should beat everyone but Bayer 04, Strasbourg, and Benfica on paper. And then those games as well, I think you can win. Like Bayer 04 at home, we can beat anyone when we decide we really want to. Unfortunately, get Benfica and Strasbourg away, so I'd back us to beat them as well. So, yeah, obviously, hopefully by the time we play Benfica, we're through the group and through the phase and into the knockouts. But that's it from us here. We've been a fantastic year. Next episode is going to be obviously us against Molde and probably Motherwell, and give you guys a double header in Europe. With that being said, see you guys next time. Thank you for checking out the content. Give it a like and subscribe.